Well, ladies and gentlemen, Teo here, back with some more Grisaia Phantom Trigger. Today we're going to learn about, Toka's, deep, dark backstory. So, you used to life in Japan yet?
そうね。まだわからないことも多いけど、だいぶ慣れたつもりよ。
What is it you don't understand?
日本の風習というか、文化というか、いい年した大人が電車の中で漫画を読んでるのは未だに理解できないわね。
Is it really that strange?
日本ではそういう感覚なのかもしれないけれど、少なくともアメリカでは電車の中で漫画を読むような大人はめったに見かけないわね。
I suppose that is true.
別に漫画を読むなとは言わないわ。母の知り合いの FBI 職員にもカートゥーンマニアがいたわ。でもその人だってパブリックな場で漫画を読むような真似はしなかった。そんな風に自分の趣味をわきまえた上で家で読めばいいのに、どうして日本人はわざわざ電車で読むのかしら。
Because you don't have anything else to do on the train, whereas in the comfort of your own home, you presumably have access to all sorts of lovely ways to spend your time? Like, is that a serious question? Make good use of your commute, maybe? I imagine there are plenty of Japanese people who only ever read them on the go. See? Haruto's on the same page as I am.
やっぱり日本は特殊よね。そもそも漫画なんて子供の読むものでしょ。それを公衆の面前で堂々と読むなんて。非常識とまでは言わないけれど、私は大人になりきれていませんって公言しているようなものじゃない。
Not really. By the way, Toka, have you ever actually read any manga?
そりゃ子供の頃は読んだことあるわよ。漫画なんて所詮は子供騙しじゃない。
Silly kid stuff that adults are totally incapable of understanding? Total ignorance. Is that really how you want to define adulthood?
Huh?
Can you really call someone a proper grown-up if they have no clue how much work goes into keeping kids entertained? What's more, though there are still plenty of people here in Japan who instantly dismiss manga as vulgar or worthless, it's impossible to deny the medium's utility. Look at the number of things that people can learn about through manga nowadays. For some folk, it's their sole means of learning about the world. There are even those who adhere to the radical notion that manga is the only real source of education left in this country. I would not go quite that far, I think.
だからそういうところが特殊だって言ってるのよ、日本人は。
So what did you come to Japan for?
もちろん仕事よ。
You can't work in Japan unless you know the country, much less so in your case since your job is so unique. In our line of work, it really helps to have gone through the same fundamental education as the average Japanese, especially since you haven't been taught things that we regard as common sense.
そんなの漫画なんて読まなくても学べるわよ。
You might be right, but a Japanese kid would be able to tell straight away what kind of person you were if you said that manga was just silly kid stuff in front of them. They'd think you were just another old fart grumbling on and on about the evils of manga.
喧嘩を売っているのよ。
Weren't you the one trying to pick a fight with adult consumers of manga? I'm not going around telling people who don't read manga that they're worthless or that they should go pick up a comic at once.
じゃあ一種返しのつもり？
I never said that. Besides, you're the one showing your prejudices, taking such a strong dislike to something foreign just because you've never encountered it before.
やっぱり喧嘩売ってるじゃない。
I'm not saying you need to enjoy it necessarily, but why don't you try reading some manga yourself before you rule them out completely?
それに何の意味があるというの？
Chris,
はい。
how did you come to learn about Japanese customs?
日本の漫画で覚えましたけど。
How long did it take you till you could speak Japanese fluently?
3ヶ月ぐらいでしょうか。
I don't believe you. Yep, that's pretty fast, even for someone as clever as Chris.
何が言いたいのよ。
There's at least some sense in reading manga. Look at it another way. People who are always asking, what good's gonna come of this, never learn anything, no matter what approach they take.
それが日本流の教育ってわけ。
I said before that you don't have to enjoy it, didn't I? And it's up to you whether you decide to try reading manga or not. Neither I nor anyone else is gonna kill you if you don't.
確か以前、漫画かゲームが原因で言い争いになって友人を刺し殺したって事件がなかった。
And if manga weren't around to fight over, that sort of person would argue about the size of their slice of birthday cake or whatever else. How do you think wars get started?
バカバカしい。
When isn't murder ridiculous? If you're looking for meaning in killing, you should find another job.
例えば
Manga artist?
つまんないわよ、その冗談。
Just give it a try, okay? Who knows, it might be your cup of tea.
というようなことがありまして、それ以来トウカさんは嫌だ嫌だバカバカしいとおっしゃいながらも 日本の漫画をたしなまれるようになりまして。
That was much less scandalous than I'd hoped for.
ですからさっきのトウカさんの言いようが少しおかしくて。なるほど。
Back when I was at school, my math teacher said something similar to me. Except his explanation was even more convoluted. When a student asked, "What good will ever come of remembering these formula?" the teacher responded, "What good will come of you if you can't even do that much?" Then he said, "Sure, you don't have to learn anything you don't think will be of use to you later in life, but if you don't study now, the jobs that actually require that knowledge will be totally out of reach."
葵くんって優しい子だと思ってましたけど、言うときは言うんですね。少し意外でした。ハルトの場合、優しいというよりは甘いんだ。
Hello, ceiling lady. How's life on the ceiling today?
急に出てくるのやめてください。いつからいたんですか？忍者はどこにでもいるし、いつでもいるよ。
You did not actually answer the question.
ハルトはこの手の組織の教官としては甘すぎるよ。中には学生を人間扱いしてないハンドラーもいるからね。本来ならトウカのような態度は絶対に許されない。絶対にってそんな大げさな。よその学校ではハンドラーに口答えなんてしようものなら殴られるのが普通ですし、ハンドラーのご機嫌次第では顔が気に入らないといった理由で殴られることもあります。
I mean, you can make arguments for and against corporal punishment as like an education mechanism, but I don't see what educational value there is in getting slapped because, quote, they didn't like your face, end quote. Like, seems like, I don't know. Not sure how much you're supposed to learn from there. Like, are you supposed to learn to not have such a dubious looking face?
その点、ハルトさんは暴力も振るいませんしね。
I believe there was something I was spouting off in the previous episode about common sense. I think that that quote is applicable again.
でもこの前、レナさんに関節技を。
In his defense, that was practically self-defense, right? Like, she was functionally assaulting him.
あれはレナが悪いよ。それに力はレナの方が強いからね。でも技はハルトの方が上だからああなっただけ。ああいったレナやトウカの態度を許してしまっているハルトは甘すぎだね。だからよその学校のハンドラーに舐められるんだ。そうなんですか。学生に対する指導が甘すぎる件に関して上から怒られている節もあるし、事実私は他校の教官に殴られたことがあるよ。
It's a little messed up.
あれはいつだったか。私もだいぶ御浜のゆるさに慣れてしまっていた頃だ。ある日の課業後、階段の踊り場からハルトを見かけて、いつものように声をかけたんだ。すると、そんな様子を見ていた SARS の幹部がハルトの背後から駆け寄ってきて、私はいきなり顔面を殴られた。どうしてそんな。私が悪いんだ。ハルトの気安さに油断して上官に対して頭上から声をかけてしまったんだからね。
Wait, seriously? I thought they were gonna complain about, like, improper degrees of formality, but that's super petty. Like, you can't control if they're on the first floor or not. Like, if you're on the second floor, what are you supposed to do? Just, like, ignore them until you're, like, vertically in the same plane? Again, I think my common sense is, getting in the way of my parsing of the conversation.
それだけで？普通の学校でも頭上から教師に声をかけるのは失礼に当たりますよね。さすがに殴られはしないと思いますが。それはそうかもしれませんが。その場はハルトが取りなしてくれたんだけれど、その幹部は貴様がたるんでいるから下の者が礼儀を学ばんのだとカンカンでね。ついでとばかりにハルトまで殴られた。
This guy sounds like a real winner.
私はそれが我慢できなくて、その幹部を殺してやろうかと思った。でも この場で問題を大きくすれば私だけの責任では済まなくなる。我慢するしかなかった。私はハルトに下げなくてもいい頭を下げさせ、負わなくてもいい怪我を負わせた。そう思うと情けなくて恥ずかしくて涙が出たよ。
Messed up.
そんな私にハルトはごめんなって言うんだ。何もしてやれなくてごめんって謝ったんだ。ハルトは何も悪くないのに。他のハンドラーのようにお前のせいだと罵られて殴られた方がまだマシだった。ハルトは甘いよ。いや、正確には私たちがハルトに甘えているだけなんだけどね。
If it wasn't for the fact that, like, this franchise is, like, predominantly slice of lifey, I would be deeply concerned about Haruto's ability to, like, make it through the entire story alive at this point. Like, they're throwing up pretty major death flags, right? Like, I'm not expecting any major characters to die here, but if somebody's gonna die, it's Haruto, right?
それ以来、私は公式な場ではハルトの隣に立つこともしないようにしているし、ハルトもそういった場にはクリスを連れて行くことが多くなった。それは単純にそういった場ではジムの雑用が多いからだよ。それにハルトさんが甘すぎるって紫は言うけど、私はハルトさんのそういうところが好きだよ。あれは去年の夏のことだったかな。赤羽の合同会議にハルトさんと私が参加した帰りのこと。その日は暑かったから、ハルトさんはお土産にアイスを買って帰ろうって言い出して、ショッピングセンターのフードコートにあるアイス屋さんの行列に並んでいたんです。夏休みに入った時期だったこともあって、フードコートには家族連れが多くて、たくさんの子供たちがはしゃいで走り回っていたんです。耳障りな奇声を上げながら走り回る子供たちに眉根を寄せる大人も少なくはありませんでしたし、私自身も親は何をしているんだろうと少し苛立ちもしました。でもハルトさんはニコニコしてるんです。ああ、さすがだな、ハルトさんは人間ができているのだろうなと私は自制で赤面の思いです。そんな時です。アイスクリームを手にしたまま走り回る子供がハルトさんの足に激突したんですよね。
You know, in any franchise other than Grisaia, I wouldn't have to worry about the child getting murdered for that. What a wonderful series this is. Like, I assume the child didn't get murdered, but like, the fact that the thought even crossed my mind is like, somewhat telling.
もちろんハルトさんはそのことで怒りはしませんでしたし、慌てて駆け寄ってきた母親にも嫌な顔一つしませんでした。アイスで汚してしまった制服のクリーニング代は出しますという母親に、ハルトさんはクリーニング代はいいですからこの子に新しいアイスを買ってあげてくださいって。お母さんに叱られた記憶ではなく、お母さんに良かったねって言ってもらえた記憶として残してあげてくださいって言うんです。子供が笑っている、こんなに平和なことはないじゃないですかって。そんなハルトさんを見て私は思ったんです。ああ、これいつかどこかで真似しようと。葵くんらしいといえばらしいですね。善人すぎて気味が悪いでしょ。そうは言いませんけど。これまでハルトさんは子供にはとても聞かせられないような仕事をしてきていますし、子供には絶対に見せられない顔を隠していますから、その反動なんだと思います。普通の人間なら見なくて済むものをハルトはいくつも見てるからね。余計にそうなんだろう。それにハルトは善人すぎるわけじゃなくて、ただ単にじじむさいだけだと思うよ。なるほど。
Perhaps it's a means of finding atonement. Not necessarily, though. From a psychological perspective, being such a good person might help him cope with his work. Or maybe he's just seen too much. Most people who've seen the depths of hell find that their minds start to crumble, until eventually they're unable to think about anything other than themselves. But some people who take that hellish environment for granted actually become kinder in their interactions with others. They start believing that they might be saved through acts of virtue. Egomania, delusions of grandeur, a martyr complex. There are a few different ways of interpreting it. I'd prefer to think he's just too nice, though. Oh, so that's what you were talking about with the girls.
すみません。なんか本人のいないところで噂話をしたみたいで。
It's okay. Gives you a reason to strike up a conversation with the students, I don't mind. I see now. Maybe the mild manner with which he responds to things like that is what makes him a doddering old man in their eyes.
ところで葵くんって年齢はおいくつなんですか？
How old do I look?
いいえ、そういう飲み屋で知り合った女の人みたいな反応はいいんで。
Well, I guess I'm about 19.
大体ですか。
That's what my age is on paper. I even have a driver's license. Your parents would usually tell you how old you are, and when your birthday is, right? I lost my parents before I was old enough to remember. There should have been a birth certificate, or something like that, but I suppose the company must have wiped it from the system.
もみ消すって。
It's easier to hire a blank slate, basically.
すみません。そういう人に会ったのが初めてなので、どう言葉を返せばいいのか。
It's not uncommon in the school, you know. There are lots of kids who are officially listed as dead, but are here under a new identity and social security number. Nowadays, we're a proper organization with a fancy acronym, but in the old days, those pitiful kids who'd been erased from all the relevant records were given the moniker Phantom Children. Mass media here in Japan used to call them silent soldiers or silent triggers as well. Okay, so I assume that's what the title of the work is referring to. The Phantom Triggers. Earlier still, they were known as Phantom Triggers. Well, okay, way to make it even more obvious.
ファントムトリガーですか。
Catchy, right? I talked about making everyone polo shirts with that slogan to wear during training, but the boss said it was dumb and got angry with me. But isn't it a good sign that you're now able to talk about some of that stuff with the students?
とは思いますけど、まだ踏み込んでいい線とそうでない線が曖昧なんですよね。
And how about you take another little step over those boundaries and take a further glimpse into their world? It's about time for firearms training. You want to have a look at what kind of shooting drills the girls usually do?
はい。
Mihama Academy shooting range is underground, apparently. They say it's out of consideration for the neighbors. It's easier to soundproof that way, and to keep an eye on the ammunition, among other things. To enter the underground facilities, you need a special ID card, so I have to be registered as Aoi-kun's guest to gain entry. En route to the elevator, we're checked twice. First a full body scan, then a pat-down. After that, we finally begin our descent. Underground shooting ranges get very noisy. I'd like you to wear these earplugs so you don't damage your hearing. Also, while you won't have any bullets flying in your direction, we don't know where the empty casings might end up, so I'd like you to wear these shooting glasses too.
はい。
When the lamp on the wall glows red, it means that someone's in the middle of training. They use live rounds, so I'd ask you not to make any sudden movements.
急ですか？
Dashing out quickly or shouting. In other words, anything that might surprise the shooter and cause an accident.
はい。
You know, it sounds so, like, benign when you say accident like that. It's like, oh. It's like the kind of word you would use when someone, like, trips. Like when they don't notice, I don't know, a wet floor sign. But no, we're talking about people getting shot. They only shoot in one direction. They'll keep their muzzles trained that way, so in the slight chance they do fire accidentally, we know where the bullet's headed. Alright, follow me, making sure to face that way, and using me to shield yourself.
はい。なんだか緊張します。
I mean, that's probably wise. You are in a firing range. Some degree of caution is probably wise. Sorry, I would be more worried if you weren't.
おや、珍しい男が顔出したもんだ。
Hey, Yamamoto-san. It's been a while.
半年ぶりか？自分な、仮にも本職やねんから、もっとちょいちょい顔出さなあかんやろ。
You know I don't like it here. It's noisy and my hair ends up stinking of gunpowder.
ジョスか？ほんで、今日はどないしたん？見学か？自分とこのガキ3匹来とるで。
No, I'm just showing the new homeroom teacher around today. This is her, Miss Arisaka Shiori.
はじめまして、有坂です。
おお、全講習会の時に見たわ。
And this greaseball is one of our technical lecturers, Miss Yamamoto Izumi.
油臭いってなんやねん。自分昔からそう
そういうとこ可愛いないで。
Anyway, Yamamoto-san is a mechanics instructor. She teaches gun maintenance in particular.
ついでと言っちゃなんやけど、ここのレンジマスターもやっとる。はい。
That's the person who supervises the shooting range. Yamamoto-san oversees everything gun-related in the academy. We're not even allowed to take our own guns off premises without her permission.
そうなんですか。
Guns aren't toys. We might seem quite lax at the school, but we're much stricter than you'd think when it comes to gun management.
その仕事の道具が嫌いでめったに触りに来おへんやつが何を偉そうに言うとんねん。
I do participate in the obligatory training sessions.
大社やろが。
That's what Ren is for.
学生の大変とはわけがちゃうねんで。それに自分もそうやけど自分とこのクリスもそうや。あいつはここ1年で一発も撃ってへんやんか。
I'll have a talk with her later.
クリスさんどうかしたんですか？
It's nothing really. All the students in each department are supposed to land at least 26 shots every year in the mandatory training sessions here.
年に2回13発ずつ撃って規定の成績に満たなければ補習。それをあいつは2回もすっぽかしとんねんぞ。
Okay, I'll make sure to give her a firm scolding later.
鉄砲嫌いで自分じゃよう歌んようなやつが説教して誰が聞くねん。
Yes, yes, your wish is my command, my lady.
あれマスタ
Hey, Rena.
ー？何？私を見に来たの？
Nope, just showing Miss Arisaka around.
なんだ。あって言ったら先生に失礼か。ねえ先生、せっかく来たんだし、私が撃つとこ見てってよ。私この後スピードプレート撃つから。え？あ、はい。よっしゃ。気合い入れてくよ。
Interesting that they choose to keep, like, standard honorifics, like San and Kun, which are, like, you don't lose quite as much context if you drop, but they did choose to drop Sensei, which is sort of a more, not necessarily nuance-laden word, but, I don't know, more recognizable. I don't know, I feel like that's an interesting decision on the part of the translator. I think a lot of translators would do it the other way around. Don't know how I feel about that one. I feel like generally I would want to keep either all or drop all. Not to say that this is bad or anything, just unique. Don't crack your knuckles, your fingers will get swollen.
ういっす。何が始まるんですか？
They're called speed plates. It's a shooting challenge.
7メートルの距離で地上から125センチの位置に設置された15センチの丸い鉄板を撃つ競技や。基本は5枚の的を何秒で撃つかを競う競技やね。
In our case, we initially randomize the targets and mix in some that you're not allowed to hit.
なんだか難しそうですね。
Right? Shoot this, don't shoot that, shoot faster. What a goddamn rigmarole. Rigmarole? Rigmarole? I learned a new word today. I'm so bad at that kind of stuff.
苦手やから訓練するんじゃんか。
Ow! Why am I surrounded by women who are mad for kicking things?
女の足癖で悩むより先に蹴られへんよう努力せよ。
Also, I'd just like to mention that, like, Yamamoto's accent is super strong. Like, it's actually, like, strong enough that it's distracting me from the actual content of what she's saying. Your wish is my command.
まあええわ。レナが撃つとこ見てき。今日のあいつはよう見えとる。これの前にやったブルで96の 3X 出しとる。
Not bad.
何を偉そうに。自分やったら的にも当たらへんやんか。
Sure, that's why I hired Ren instead.
女は便利な道具とちゃうぞ。
I know.
よーしレナ、準備はええか？ウェストいつでも。
You get that? There are 5 steel plates in front of Rena. When the buzzer sounds, one of them will light up. A blue light means it's a boss plate. The rules dictate that no matter which ones light up, you've always got to hit the blue one first. After hitting the blue one, you can shoot the rest in any order. The quicker you do it, the more points you get. Next, there's a red light. That's a hostage plate. You must never shoot that one. As long as you don't hit the red plate, you can hit them in any order again. Though, as before, the quicker you manage it, the more points you get. It's kind of unintuitive, right? Like, in a video game, the boss is like what you beat last. So calling it the boss plate, intuitively makes me think that you would want to shoot that one last, right? I feel like they could have thought of a better name. Sometimes both red and blue lights appear at the same time, and you have to aim for the blue.
それも早ければ早いほど高得点なんですね。
That's right. Should you shoot the hostage by mistake, or accidentally drop your gun while taking it out of its holster, you're immediately disqualified. You end it with 0 points.
厳しいんですね。
I mean, is it? Like, in a real-life situation, you either just killed the hostage or dropped your gun. Seems reasonable, if anything. We're training for situations where lives are at stake. Everyone's dead serious about it. By the way, it's said that you often end up shooting at a range of about 7 meters during real combat, so that explains the setup here. Rena goes through 200 rounds a day in shooting drills like this.
200発を毎日ですか？
To put that in context, Slur's agents expend about 150 rounds a year on average in their shooting drills. Rena's on a whole other level.
すごいですね。
That's kind of impressive. The ammo fee's nothing to sneeze at either. The school subsidizes up to 150 rounds a year, and the rest comes out of your own wallet. Of course, Brenda's fee is deducted from her employer's salary. Mine.
大変ですね。
I mean, in her defense, that is, like, literally what he has hired her to do. You reap what you sow, you get, I guess. 200 rounds a day, so that's 73,000 bullets a year? I don't know what's normal, but if the industry standard is 150, then she's off the charts for sure. Starting.
はい。
Renaissance takes some big, deep breaths and starts warming up like a pro baseball player might before stepping up to the plate. She spreads her arms out, eases her neck muscles, and twists her body left and right to position her center of gravity. Drawing more deep breaths, she sinks her hips and makes sure that she's in a good position. Then she puts her hand on the gun at her hip and draws it a few times, searching for a good spot to fix her head once she starts shooting.
安全装置もう一回確認せ。用意はええか？
Renaissance places her hand on her gun again and gives a silent nod in reply. Her breathing turns shallow, then she raises both of her hands up to her shoulders to show she's ready.
ファーストラウンド始め。 1.73
That was fast. Way faster than I'd imagined. So this is what Renaissance is capable of?
よし次行くで。セカンドラウンド始め。 1.91 遅い。下をつつなよ。次行くで。サードラウンド始め。 バカたれ、赤的を撃つやつあるか。検定中止や。やっちゃった。
Rip.
キーを抜くな。ダンスを抜かんかい。はーい。スライド引いて薬室確認。はーい。スライドダウン、ハンマーダウン。クリア。的に向かって礼。ありがとうございました。銃をバッグに入れたら下がってよし。得点記録用紙に目を通して間違いがないことを確認したらサインを忘れんように。はーい。久しぶりに0点出しちゃったよ。かっこ悪いとこ見られちゃった。
It's a real shame.
マスターと先生にかっこいいところ見せようとして力んじゃってたのかな。
Seems to be a problem of
ダメ
hers.
だって分かってたのに狙いながら引き金引いちゃったよ。
Seems to be a problem of hers. Like, she did the same thing in the prologue, right? Where she was like told, "Don't kill the people," and then she killed the people. Like, methinks she might be a little trigger happy.
狙いながら引き金を引くのは普通では？ いや、まあなんていうか、狙いが定まる前に引いちゃった感じ。
Rena's an instinct shooter, so she's usually the type to fire instinctively, without taking aim properly. When she does, it throws her off tempo.
だもんで、あれを撃ちなさいは得意なんだけど、あれは撃っちゃダメってのがどうにも苦手で。
You're lucky we're not in the field. If that was for real, your hostage's head would have been blown clean off.
笑い事じゃないですよね。
That's right, Rena. You should be ashamed of yourself.
私笑ってないし、まあね、私も感覚っていうか、本能で撃ってちゃまずいなって思ってるから、スピードプレートだけじゃなくて、ブルズアイもちゃんと練習してるし。ダーツ用語？
Bullseye is a shooting drill designed to improve accuracy, using targets that are 10 meters away. You have 2 minutes to fire 5 shots, and there are 2 strings, which make for 10 shots in total.
スピードプレートでアイソトニック、ブルズアイでアイソメトリックを交互にやってるから、時々混乱するんだよね。まだ練習するんですか？うん、まだ弾も残ってるし、後でもう一周する。順番が来るまで隅っこ行ってゴム銃で素振りしてるよ。
Don't go shooting the hostage next time, okay?
はーい。なんていうか、想像してたよりもスポーツっぽいですね。
Well, it's training after all. Though she's actually training to kill people, which makes it rather difficult, or different, rather.
すみません、不謹慎でしたね。
Don't worry about that. We're the ones who are tactless for treating this kind of training like it's a sport.
そんなとこに突っ立ってると邪魔よ。ドキ
Ah, it's Toka. Have you finished your training?
まだこれからよ。今日は1年生の訓練日と重なってて、ロングレンジが混んでるのよ。
ロングレンジ？
There's an underground tunnel for long distance shooting, up to 200 meters.
何？見学？
I thought it was about time Miss Arisaka finally got to see what you guys normally do all day.
まあいいけど。
Will you show her your shooting in action?
別にいいけど、人殺しの練習してるとこ見たって面白くないわよ。
Don't say stuff like that. Your teacher just wants to get to know you a little better.
知らなきゃよかったなんてことにならなきゃいいけど。
Come on, Toka.
それでもいいならついてきなさい。見せてあげるから。
How about it?
行きます。
It'd still be possible for me to teach my students without seeing the things I don't want to see, or knowing the things I don't want to know. That may actually be the correct way of going about things. I definitely quiver at the sight of some of this stuff, probably regret actually learning any more about what they do. But the kids slave away at this cruel job every day. I don't want to be remiss in my own work. I've been a teacher for less than a week. This attitude of mine might just be arrogance for all I know. But that's why I need to find out how far I can go in this job.
どうか準備はいいか？まずはプローンからや。
いつでもいいわ。
すごい施設ですね。地下なのに。
It was originally meant to be a fallout shelter, it seems. Construction work on it was put to a hold for budgetary reasons. The cutting wheel of a TBM is still stuck in the end of the tunnel.
この学園って本当何なんです？
It was built by a bunch of different people from a bunch of different organizations, all with their own driving ideals. We didn't pay for this tunnel with taxpayers' money, don't you worry.
は
Never mind that. Take a look through your binoculars. Can you see the 5 small targets lined up 200 meters away?
あ、はい、見えます。
The targets each measure 8 centimeters by 8. You can barely make them out with a telescope, let alone the naked eye. Toka's gonna try and hit all of them in 1 minute.
可能なものなんですか？
I reckon it'll be hard. Hitting all of them is almost unheard of. She's challenging herself to see how many hits she can land in 1 minute from just 5 shots. Saying that, Toka's able to hit a human target from up to 800 meters away. Her longest kill is 1 kilometer, though it depends on the gun she's using.
そうですか。
Starting.
ファーストステージ。レディー。
Isn't she gonna shoot? She has 1 minute to get off 5 shots. She'll make sure that she has a good aim first.
ヒット。
It's hit alright. Now for the second shot.
ヒット。
That one's also a hit. Now into shot number 3.
ヒット
Third one's a hit too. Maybe she'll actually get them all.
残り30秒 ミス
Ah, she ended up missing the shot the moment she got cocky. Then again, it might have been that she jumped a little when she heard that she only had 30 seconds left. Some people move on to the next target when they miss a shot, but others will relentlessly go after the one target until they hit it. Toka's the latter type.
打ちませんね
This is her last shot. She can't miss this one. She'll concentrate harder than usual to get her aim right. With so little time left, she's bound to panic. Counting on the seconds in her head, she'll be unable to focus on the target, and it'll all go downhill.
ミス
もう狙いすぎたわ。
When that happens, she usually tends to miss, even if she does put her all into the shot.
もうごちゃごちゃとうるさいわね。集中できなかったじゃないの。
What I'm hearing right now are excuses, ma'am. And we do not stand for that in my household. You got 3 hits. That's plenty awesome.
あんたがごちゃごちゃ言わなきゃ全部当たってたわよ。
You can't make a hit unless you've got total silence. I guess you still have a ways to go, huh?
あんたに何がわかるのよ。
こらどうか斬新的に一礼していかんか
はいはい、ありがとうございました。
おいハルトよあいつ態度悪いぞ
I believe we've established this. She'll just get angry if I say anything to her about it.
集中してるところを邪魔しちゃいましたかねなーにハルトの言う通りや静かな場所でなきゃ当たらんようじゃ使い物にはならん
Shall we have her do some noise training?
普段からやらせてはおんねんけどななんですそれ
It's a type of training where you're made to listen to white noise through a pair of headphones.
どんな環境でも集中できるようにするための訓練やないろんなことするんですね10日の場合は時計の方が問題やな時計が回ってなければ1分間に5発ぐらい余裕で前段当ててみせんねんけど時計が回ると途端に引き金が雑になんねん
I can empathize with that.
次は紫やな見てくか
Will you actually be able to see her?
目薬使うか
That won't be necessary.
どういう意味ですか
You'll find out when we get to the next chamber.
真っ暗ですね
That's right. This room is designed to help you train to shoot in the dark. Our targets tend to be the nocturnal type, so we invariably end up working more at night in semi-darkness. This training prepares you for that. Rena uses her intuition instead of a gun sight because they're not really much use in the dark.
暗闇でも10年間自然発光するトリチウムサイトに乗せ替えるってでもあんねんけどわずかな光でも自ら光を発するのを嫌う連中は多いねん通常は赤外線レーザー照準器と暗視ゴーグルを併用して行う訓練やねんけど今回の訓練は特別やその手の装置は使わん
The cynic in me is thinking that like the background artist must have been elated when he found out about this scene. He's like, wait, the background just has to be flat black? Oh my god. Praise be. That's because if the enemy is equipped with night vision equipment as well, they'll easily make out a laser sight.
それもあるが機械物をあまり信用しすぎるのも良くないねんバッテリーが切れたらどないする装置が故障したらどないするこれはそういう訓練やこんな真っ暗で当たるんですか
Have you ever heard of the reference sound concept, Miss Arisaka?
いえあいにくと
The like echolocation? It'd take ages to explain properly, so I'll keep it short and sweet. Basically, it's a means of picturing just where everything in the room is, even with your eyes closed, using otoacoustic emissions, sound generated within the inner ear. You remember the day you arrived in Mihama when I was in the middle of a kendo match with the principal?
はい 目隠しをしてイヤホンで雑音を聞きながら試合をされててびっくりしました。
That was another form of training designed to envelop a kind of sixth sense. Or envelop.
実際人間にそんな能力ってあるんですか？
Who knows? Apparently there are martial arts experts who swear they developed a sixth skin sense. Others explain it as simply their brains filling in the gaps, using what they remember from when their eyes were open.
人間には第三の目と第三の耳があるって言われとるが、それら微弱な信号を感じ取るセンサーが鈍ければ意味がない。それらを鍛えているつもりになれる訓練やな。つもりですか。
We're training her to strengthen that intuition of hers, basically.
うだうだ説明するよりやってみせた方が早いやろ。紫、準備はええか？いつでもいいよ。いたんですか？
Murasaki's been here for the past 20 minutes, accustoming herself to the darkness.
全然気がつきませんでした。忍者だからね、ニンニン。あんな紫、語尾がニンニンやったら忍者っぽいって分けちゃうぞ。忍者でござるよ、ニンニン。単純にござるを追加すれば補強されるわけちゃうで。いやー、散々悩んだあげく一周回ってわけのわからん規制あげんなや。正直めんどくさい。それはこっちのセリフや。なら普通にやれや。始めるよ。2分間で5発。5枚のターゲットはいつものようにランダムに配置されとる。準備はええか？だ。
What? Oh, right, Russia. Russian ninja.
ヒット！当たったんですか？
The sensor caught it, so she must have.
これって距離はどれぐらいなんですか？
It might be anywhere from between 2 and 8 meters away from her. It's random each time.
次。ヒット！また当たりました。
Murasaki,
なんだい？
you can open your eyes when you fire, you know.
うん、わかった。今まで目を閉じたまま撃ってたんですか？
Even if she had her eyes open, she wouldn't be able to make anything out. In fact, all the trouble she took adjusting to the dark would come to naught thanks to the muzzle flash from her own gun.
じゃあ目を開けて撃ったら
She'll feel as if she's looking at herself from behind, and her field of vision should open up. In fact, if she remembers the lay of the room, she should be able to hit the rest of the targets in one go.
撃つよ。よし、ヒット！3発連続で？いやー、厳密には2発目は外しとるな。的やのうて的を支えとる支柱に当たっとんな。
It's like hitting someone in the knee, right? It's like close enough.
しかしセンサーは反応しとるし、得点者と認めてやろう。紫合格や。ありがとうございました。
Good job, Murasaki.
最後外した。納得いかない。的の支柱に当たったのだって十分すごいじゃないですか。びっくりしました。それじゃダメなんだ。私の使う銃は22口径の低速弾を使うから確実に相手の頭に当てないとダメなんだ。
Yeah, with a 22, you can end up catching return fire even after pumping 2 or 3 rounds into your target.
確実に頭に当てなきゃダメなんだ。
Any part of the head is fine, though if you hit them in one of the tougher parts of the skull, or they're wearing some kind of eye protection and you hit that, you might not bring them down in one go.
側頭部から入った弾丸が頭蓋内で 2,3 回長弾して脳みそを茶碗蒸しみたいにぐちゃぐちゃにかき混ぜられたら理想かな。ああ、そうですか。
Are we done? She's going to put me off egg custard for life. What if those little lotus seeds you often get in custard pudding start reminding you of 22 caliber bullets from now on? And those black sesame flavored egg custards, the pinkish gray ones, they're definitely going to remind me of brains now. Ugh. Somehow thinking about it makes me feel.
何の話？
Nothing. Just a target that Murasaki had some trouble with.
ああ、 2発目？
How do you know?
紫ってば連射すると大抵2発目が上目に着弾する癖があるよね。
Does it happen every time?
分かってはいてもどうにもならない。人間の体ってのは不便なものだね。
え、何？紫って魔王の生まれ変わりとかなの？つかさ、22口径の銃で当たらないとか変な癖がついてるとしか思えないんだけど。前にその銃試しに私が撃ったら面白いように的のセンターに吸い込まれたよね。これってもう射手当人の癖なんじゃないかな。
訓練はしてるんだけどな。
それでもダメだってんならやっぱ銃の問題じゃん。グリップが細くて握りやすいのはいいんだけど、グリップ背面の手のひらの当たる部分が直線でフラットだから射撃のたびに手の中でもがいちゃってんのかも。フィンガーレストとチャネルのある社外のグリップに付け替えてみれば？
できればあまりいじりたくない。もし自分の銃が故障していたりして誰かの銃を借りた時に自分の銃じゃないから当たらないってのは困る。
ああ、それじゃあさ、グローブ変えれば？バイク用とかのさ、手のひらんとこにウレタンのクッションが入ってるやつ。
Man, this like really does sound like a sport. They're like trying to come up with like different equipment they can use. Like,
銃を握った時に多少違和感はあるけどすぐに慣れるし、とっさに地面に伏せたりするとき具合いいよ。
like if they weren't talking about guns, you could have fooled me into thinking this was a VN about sports.
考えとく。
つうか単純に気合の問題ってのもあるよ。こう銃構えてさ、死ねえリア充死ねえヌックロスとクソリア充がって言いながら撃てば大抵当たるよ。試してみたら？
Doesn't that like defeat half of the purpose of working in the dark? Like, the upside of being in the dark is that the other guy can't see you either. But if you're shouting like a madman, like, I feel like you lose some percent of that advantage. Like, obviously the gun is going to work against you because, like, they can hear it fire. But if you're actively shouting, then, like, that just seems worse.
リア充に親でも殺されたの？
親なんて顔すら知らないけど。
私のことママって呼んでもいいんだよ。
いや、なんで？
By the way, Urena, are you okay standing around here chatting like this?
あれからもう一周したし、人打ちも終わったしね。人打ち？
Oh, that doesn't mean she's firing at real people. It's a type of training where you shoot life-size dummies.
そうですか。そうですよね。ちょっと驚きました。
Even if they're just shooting dummies and not real people, it's still not exactly pleasant, is it?
でも必要なことなんですよね。
It's a test to see how much damage you can do, depending on which guns and ammo you use, the angle from which you shoot, and where you impact the target. Also,
それにもっと単純に言っちゃえば、人をためらわずに撃つ練習になるってこと。
Urena, surely there are better ways of putting it. I was busy trying to find the right words, and you just went ahead and blurted it out.
だって遠回しに言って変に誤解させても困るし。あのね先生もこのレンジに来て気づいたと思うけど、ここでは誰もが銃口管理に気をつけているでしょ。例えば撃つ直前までバッグから銃を出さないとか、銃と弾倉は別々のバッグで運ぶとか、銃口はいつも必ずターゲット方向に向けられてるとか。はい。銃は人を傷つけたり命を奪ったりもする道具だから、私たちは必要以上に気をつけて銃を扱う訓練を毎日してるし、もし不注意で事故が起きても最低限の被害で済むように行動してる。でね、そういう安全管理が無意識にまで染み込んでくると、実戦の現場で敵に銃を向ける時ですらギクリとするようになったりするのね。人に銃口を向けられるのってゾッとしますよね。 でも人に銃口を向けるのも実はすごく不快でストレスなんです。何度も射撃訓練を重ねて銃を撃つことに慣れたつもりでいても、いざ敵を目の前にすると不意に引き金が重くなる時があります。人撃ちってのは文字通りの意味で、人の形をしたものを少しもためらわないで反射的に撃てるようにするための訓練なんです。
実際現場で反射的に人間を撃っちゃった子とか、撃っちゃってから悩む子が多いしね。
1人目をうまくやった子でも2人目を撃つ時が一番きついって言うよね。何人も撃ってればある程度は慣れるけど、不快感とは一生付き合うことになるんじゃないかな。
That's kinda heavy.
こんな簡単な言葉では済ませられないとは思いますが、大変ですね。
ま、普通は大変でしょうね。
普通？
私は迷わないし、ためらったこともないから。
それってどういう？
自分でもよくわかんないけど、多分私には普通の人が人を撃つ時に感じる抵抗を感じる器官が壊れているんだと思います。
世間ではそれをサイコパスって言うんだよ。
それは否定はしないよ。ステーキやムニエルを食べるたびに牛や魚に感謝はしても泣いて謝ったりしないしね。
それとこれとは話が別じゃないかな。
お？命の重さに大小をつける気かな？
それはへりくつだよレナ。
牛とかさ、あいつらなんであんなに美味しいんだろうね。あとほらエビとかさ、あいつらって食べられるために生まれてきたんじゃないのってぐらい美味しいよね。
Well, we successfully changed the subject. That was quick.
それは捕食者側の一方的な発想だよレナ。
最近お腹いっぱい食べてないな。お肉とかお寿司とか。
Hey, don't look at me. Oh, my poor wallet.
大丈夫。縮み上がったらまた私が大きくしてあげるよ。
Come on now, there are kids watching. We're still talking about my wallet, right? Just making sure. When they're talking about food, or when they're in the classroom, they really are just normal children. But the moment they're facing a target, or steadying themselves before firing their guns, they seem entirely saturated with bloodlust. They talk casually about the concept of death in day-to-day conversation. Yet they're so childlike that they're only able to discuss it in the most facile of terms. That's what really chills me to the bone. Pardon me, miss. The conversation always ends up somewhere absurd with this lot.
だから通路に立ち止まって話し込んでんじゃないわよ。邪魔よ邪魔。何度言わせるつもり？犬や猫じゃあるまいし、一度で理解しなさいよね。
Actually, we were waiting to see if you dropped by.
何よそれ。
先に私たちだけで帰ったら機嫌悪くなるくせに。
子供じゃあるまいし、バカバカしい。
いいじゃん、みんなでシャワー浴びに行こうよ。
思春期の女子中学生じゃあるまいし、何でもかんでも一緒に行きたがるんじゃないわよ。
How about you go with them, miss?
私もです。
You don't have to get naked. I just think it's a rare opportunity for you.
は
Oh, and of course you'll have no problem with me joining you too, right?
じゃあ一緒に狭いシャワー室に入ってぬるめのお湯を頭からザーザー浴びながらの壁ドンは。
Lewd. No way am I doing that. We've never done that stuff.
そして壁に追い詰められたレナが人であることを一時忘れてマスターと獣のように戯れ合う濃厚な瞬間は。
Lewd. Hey, would you mind shutting up for a moment? What's all this about? Why do you want to do these things with me? You're gonna give Miss Arisaka totally the wrong impression.
なんだいちえ。
Don't click your tongue.
先生は帰り電車会？
ええ、そうですけど。
だったらシャワーを浴びた方がいいね。本人に自覚はないかもしれないけど、髪や服が硝煙臭いはずだよ。
そ
電車に乗って隣のやつが焼肉臭いならまだしも、硝煙やらオイルミストの匂いがするのってどうかと思う。そして忍者の伝承にはこんな言葉がある。嘘は匂いでバレる。
I don't know if I believe you. I don't know if I believe you. But your scarf is making an oddly compelling argument. Look at that smile. I don't think anyone wearing a scarf that happy could be lying to me. So I'm gonna choose to believe you.
男の浮気がバレる要因として匂いってのは実際かなり大きい。私のようなバッチ持ちの忍者マスターレベルになると、匂いだけでハルトが昨日どんな女と一緒にいたかがすぐにわかる。
Not you two. Stop making stuff up.
港区の匂いがする。昨日は六本木の女と一緒だったね。
I did go to the headquarters in Akasaka yesterday. Wait, you were with me at the time.
そう、昨日ハルトと一緒にいた女とは何を隠そう、実はこの私だよ、キリ。
Don't go looking all smug like that. Man, the face is annoying.
なんで私はそこに呼ばれてないの？
Ah, you're all so annoying.
どうでもいいけど、このままバカ話を続けるようなら私は先に行くわよ。
待ってよ、
Well, we're gonna leave the shower scene for tomorrow. Y'all can look forward to that. I will, I guess look forward to that? We can all look forward to that together. I'll catch y'all tomorrow. Peace.